Okay, cool. Hey guys, welcome to our dance. It's Val, and I have Meredith on. I'm so excited. It's inappropriate, so I don't know if I should introduce you that way but everybody knows you. And I want to I want to thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to meet you. My mom actually introduced me to you and to Tiffany. She's like, "Val, you got to watch these girls. They're hilarious." And
Oh
she
my
was,
gosh, I love that your mom introduced you.
yeah, my mom. She's like, "Val, oh my gosh, it's because you guys are so relatable." I think that as moms, sometimes I'm like, "Am I a bad mom?" Because they're really like, "Are you kidding me right now?" But you make it like, yeah, everybody goes through these times but you make it so fun. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me here. And I think we all have that exact thought, are you kidding me? And that's 50 million times a day when it comes to kids. Because I just kicked my kids out before you hit start on your broadcast because they were quote unquote homeschooling, but no work was happening. So they had to be escorted out of the office because they were not actually doing any work.
It's
So
crazy.
it's a whole lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought they would just listen and do it.
It's
So,
wishful thinking. I know. I'm going through the same thing. I was just telling you, like, I want to do all my lives and have all these awesome people on. So I have to buy like probably 50 bags of candy a day. I know it's horrible, but then I just send them out and I'm like, just do whatever you want for 30 minutes, please. But yeah,
yeah, but we should be entitled to 30 minutes, you know? I mean, it's such a small chunk of time, you know?
it really is. I think so.
And, and they're back, you know what I mean? It's like turn around, shut the door, and exit the facility. Like it doesn't matter like what you're trying to do. It's
Even
just
if you're
like
on
being in the
the toilet,
bathroom.
nothing matters. The toilet,
No.
like can I go to the bathroom? No, nothing. So I thank you so much for this. So I live in Arizona. You live in Florida.
Florida.
How is it in the stores? Is everything off the shelves?
I've not been in a store in 19 days. I
Yeah.
have not left my house in 19 days. We were not in a shelter at place until this past week, maybe Monday or Sunday. One of those days, the alert went off and we were all told to stay at home. But we were using a grocery delivery service.
Wow.
I don't know if, and the issue is things were running out off of the shelves because we would place our order and we'd have to wait 7 days for it.
I know.
So yeah, it's crazy, but we were just trying to, we're our family is relatively healthy.
Yeah.
But I worry about picking something up and then because we live in a very elderly community, I felt terrible. Like, what if I went out and I was, I'd be okay or my kids would be okay. But what if I passed this on to my neighbor who's, 80 years old?
Right.
So we've just made it a priority and a point not to go out and do those things because I would feel really bad if I was the reason that they were sick. So we've just taken ourselves out of the equation.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing here. I order online too. Like I was mentioning, I have CP. So I order all my groceries online, but they're not even honoring it because they said they can't even guarantee 30% of my order. So I'm sending my husband to the store because a lot of people mistake CP. Oh, it's a physical, but it's actually like respiratory and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty, I'm like a 90-year-old woman right now. So I'm just cleaning the house. But
Right, but it's good, but it's it's just a really weird time, right? It's a scary time. It's a weird time. People feel out of place. And that's why I think it's great that people go live to kind of share and talk about that. I've been going live on my page every day at 1 o'clock just for sanity purposes. I think it's the best way for us to kind of get through this together
yeah,
because we're all going through. I always would say before, like parenting is a great equalizer. When you become a parent, we're all kind of going through the same things. But now, globally, literally, all of us are going through this experience. I know we're all experiencing it differently, but
right.
I feel like Okay. My Alexa is now reminding me that vocabulary time is done. Thank you, Alexa. But we're all going through these things together, right? The homeschooling stuff, this having to stay inside stuff, the being freaked out if you have to go to a grocery store because could you pick something up stuff. So, oh, how cool is that? Look, you can put your comments up there.
Yeah. So yeah.
Look at you.
And Marianne was saying, hope all is well. And Chanel was saying hello to us. And this is scared. Yeah, or she shared it. It's just a crazy time. It is like living in a movie. It's surreal. It's insane.
Yeah. Every time I turn on either Netflix or one of the streaming devices, it's like, would you like to stream Outbreak? And it's like, no, I would not. Like, why?
I know. It's like, that is so funny that you said that. My husband did that the other
Sorry,
day.
my husband was asking for my phone. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, the other day he's like, "Hey, have you ever seen Outbreak?" And I'm like, yeah." He's like, "Rewatch it now." I'm like, "No, we're living in the movie." He's like, "It's crazy."
No. What are you doing, Dave? Oh my God. My Alexa is shouting out my phone number right now. What is going on? This is real life. Like, if you want to actually know what, and that's the thing too, like the reason that I started my page, we all start pages for different reasons, right? Like your page talks about being born differently, right? Or we all come in different packages, right? I started this as a reason to discuss this great equalizer that is parenting and marriage and what that does to us. And I'll be interviewing with people, or we'll be talking about stuff, and they're like, what is your real life like? And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is it. Like, this is all you get. Like, that's it, and most of the time after I have met with, with somebody or chatted via the email or whatever, or the Zoom or whatever, people know after a matter of 2 seconds, yeah, this is exactly what this woman is like. But you've been in my office now for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. You've seen my kids come in 3 times. You've seen my husband grab stuff off like, we're all living the same ridiculous nonsense. I just put it out there. I just air all the dirty laundry, literally folding my laundry on Friday mornings on my page.
But you're so relatable. And I love that.
I just think that if we kind of take the filter off, we can find ways to connect that we wouldn't normally. And that gives us all the ability, that gives each of us the ability to feel more connected, more relatable to each other. Yeah. And that's what I think, I can tell you that that's been the highlight so far of what I've been able to do. Because I love making sketch comedy, and I love the podcast, and I love writing books, and I love meeting with people. But when I get messages and emails from people that say, I feel like you get me and what it's like to be a wife and a mom, and you get, like, I feel like you could be like, my house could be your house type thing, or my marriage could, you could be your marriage. It's like, well, that's the point. Like, I don't want anybody to feel alone.
Yeah, I love that. How long have you been on this journey of, like, kind of showing your life? How long have you been out there doing your thing?
2014 was the year that I started the website and the blog, but everything was a written word, no videos until 2016.
Okay. Wow.
So it took me a while to figure out that part of, I felt like something was missing when I was just writing about it. I felt like there was still a disconnect. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that everybody on Facebook was doing these videos, and I was like, gosh, I think I could make videos. And my husband was like, yeah, okay, make videos. And I was like, no, I think I could.
Yeah.
And so then I started making videos because I thought, well, you can read something and it can be relatable. But when you watch this crazy woman who's still in her bathrobe, like, running after her kids, it's like you feel like, oh, I did that today. You know, like I was that crazy woman chasing after her dog in the front yard while the kids are trying to catch the bus or whatever. And, you know, she comes running out in her pajama pants. My kids hate when I take them to school in my pajama pants and my slippers. But it's like, so what, guys? Like, my job isn't to impress people based on what I'm wearing, you know? So I always tell my kids, it what matters is not, you know, it's not that outside package. But yeah, so 2016, so we've been doing sketch videos or rants or lives for about 4 years. And I can't go a day without doing one.
Yeah, I love it. Were you ever, at one point, were you ever camera shy, or was it just natural?
I don't think I was ever camera shy. I always just felt like Facebook gave us this really amazing tool with these live videos
Yeah.
as a way to really connect with people and have a conversation. So whoa, my screen went blank. I was like, okay. So I think I remember my first Facebook Live. It was this really random live that I just popped on because I saw that there was this new feature when they started doing these back in 2016, and I just went live and nobody was in there because my page was probably, at the time, I probably had a couple thousand followers, but those were people that were coming to just read the website, right? And there were no videos really or anything yet. And so I flipped the live on and nobody was in there. And I thought, okay, how do I pretend that people are here so that nobody knows that nobody's here? Because you're going live. But so then I realized, I was like, well, if I just start talking and pretend that I'm like a parrot looking into a mirror, and I just have a conversation with myself about what went on this day, when people watch it later, they won't know that nobody was here live. And so I just started going live and talking to myself. And eventually people started showing up. And then I was like, holy crap, like now I have somebody to talk to. But I would lie and be like, hey, Susan, girl, what's going on? You know, like, hey, oh, Jessica from Oklahoma. It's like, no, Jessica was there. Like, that's a lie. But it was, you know, somebody to talk to, even though it was nobody.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what it is. I know my husband, when I said, I'm like, I'm going to start talking about my life and, you know, just talking to people, because I don't think there's ever been a time that I've walked outside and somebody didn't say, hey, what happened or whatever. And I don't mind talking. And then on top of it, I have kids. So then that's another, are those yours? Yep, they're mine. How did that happen? Is that really appropriate right now? But, you know, and I was like, I'm just going to talk. And so that's exactly right. You talk to yourself and just get through it. And it's crazy, but it draws people in, and I love it. I love the interaction too. I think that's awesome.
Well, I think we all have something different, whether it's something physically different about us or mentally different about us, or, you know, personalities, whatever it is. We all have these different things.
Right.
Like I said earlier, my son has mild CP and he's on the spectrum. And, you know, somebody said, oh, your son has special needs. And I said, no, he has different needs. All my children are hashtag special, hashtag blessed. But I don't believe in coining that way, because I don't think that, you know, he's differently abled. He can do different things that, you know, and needs different things. But, you know, but I just don't, to me, it's like, what difference does it make? Like, we're going to roll with what we were all dealt a set of cards. Exactly. We all hold a hand, play it as, you know, you see fit. But I just don't, to me, that's like, you know, get out of here. Just, we all got to roll. We got to do it, you know?
Yeah. And I love that. I was telling you, my mom introduced me to you guys, and she's like, you have to watch them. They're so great. Because I respect my mom in a whole different light now, especially as a mother with a disability, a mom raising a child with a disability. She was the same way. She treated me no different, even though sometimes I want to be treated a little bit different. Can you see? And she's like, no, your brother and sister, you guys are all fighting the same way. And that's just the way it was. but she raised me to be strong. And now my children are full of diversity as they're, biracial, and then their mommy's disabled. So it's a beautiful place. When you walk in, it's like Walmart, like everybody's different in my
I
house.
I couldn't agree more. It was the first thing, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, that I said when I saw the picture of your family. I was like, oh, your family kind of looks like my family.
Yeah.
We got 3 multi-racial children, 2 boys and a girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny because you got asked that question, are these your kids because you're disabled, I would
Right.
assume,
Yeah.
or how do you, before I go and stick my foot further down my mouth, what
No.
is the proper term that I should use in
Yeah.
terms of
No.
CP?
I say disabled, CP, whatever. It doesn't.
Okay.
I'm so
Um,
I'm gonna offend it.
well, I can offend everyone, but I got asked the exact same question when I was holding my daughter at 3 months old, because they asked, where did you adopt her from? Because
Right.
she's not white. And I was like, well, my uterus, because I had her,
Right.
because that's my husband over there and he's not white, So but you just roll, that, like my daughter was in class and they asked her, the teacher asked how they celebrate Mexican Christmas. And my daughter's like, I don't know. I'm not Mexican.
Right.
And my husband sat them down and talked to them, and was like, people are going to assume things. And it's like, next time you can say to the teacher, well, I'm Puerto Rican. This is my heritage and this is what we celebrate. But you're right. It's kind of like Walmart, a whole bunch of different people.
That's what I tell my husband. I'm like, every day we walk in is just like Walmart. Like,
Yeah.
we got so much going on, but we love it. We love life. And, like you said, everybody goes through something. And I told my husband the other day, I said, I hope that this crisis brings everyone closer and you realize, you know what, we might need each other someday, and just be kind to each other, because my situation can't be camouflaged. There's no hiding an electric scooter or crutches or the swag when I walk. It's just what it is. But it doesn't take away from somebody else who may be hurting internally, and so
Correct. Yeah.
just treat people kindly. And yeah, so definitely.
And you're right. And I think that, this virus has kind of blindsided nations across the globe, but it has brought out some really light spots, where you see everybody coming together in New York City and clapping for the hospital staff, the doctors and the nurses and the CNAs and the hospital employees as they're changing shifts. And you see the fitness trainers that are on these roofs and they're leading, fitness class for all these people stuck in these apartment buildings. And I think it's great. I think, I looked at my husband when this started and I said, what's one thing that I could do to help right now? Because we're all kind of stuck here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go live every day and do like a daily check-in with people, because that's the only thing that I can do right now that I think might offer some sanity or some help. And so every day at 1:00, that's what I've been trying to do, is just make sure that I don't miss those. And for 19 days in a row, today was day 19, we've had a chat. Sometimes it's not at 1:00 because life happens, but for the most part, it's like, that's what I can do to show up. And I think you're right. I think that's what people need to do right now, is just be like, how can I help? And of course, the number one thing is stay at home.
Yeah.
You can help by staying at home, because we don't want to spread this to people who could have some really adverse reactions to it.
Right.
And then figure out a way that you could be of service, whatever that means. Maybe it's making your family stick to a family Zoom call once every 2 or 3 days or whatever, just so that they're getting, that they're having some conversations, because a lot of our parents who are older, maybe they're not talking to anybody else,
Yeah,
So,
totally.
but
I
yeah.
definitely believe that. And I know that people appreciate you going on live. It just shows everybody like, hey, we're still here. We can still chat. And it's hard to be productive, because I'm the kind of person where I want to get things done. I want to be productive. But in the line of business, I'm a life coach. I can still do everything online. So thank goodness I can still stay connected. It's hard with the kids in the background. They're cramping my style, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And so I think that's awesome. And you also do a podcast.
Well, on the podcast with Tiffany, whom I just adore, we could have chosen to not do it because it is stressful to have to do it remotely. It's been a real pain with the audio. We've had some issues, but I was like, Tiff, I think we should keep going. And she's like, my exact thoughts, like we shouldn't skip a beat here. And I was like, okay, great. So let's keep doing them on Thursdays and we'll keep releasing them on Sundays. And this last week's that went out on Sunday night was definitely coronavirus heavy because it was the first one that we had recorded live since this had happened because we had a backlog of content. This next week that we're doing is not as intensive, and we're talking a little bit, not to give away topics, but this coming up week, we're going to talk a little bit about the difficulties of homeschooling our kids and what's actually important and things like that. So I don't think there's going to be a way to touch on things that aren't coronavirus related in a sense because we're in such a bubble right now, but we're going to do our best to continue to get people to laugh and just know that they're not alone. And, Tiffany is Tiffany, no matter where you meet that woman, no matter what you're doing, what conversation you're having with her, she is a true blue. And I think that's what I just fell in love with because it's refreshing to know that what you see is what you get, because a lot of times that's not what it is. And that can be disheartening, I think, for people. And so I hope everybody knows that's the same with me, like I fold my underwear on a live broadcast every week because I don't care if you know what brand of undies I wear or that they have holes in them or that my children's socks never match or whatever. Like that's it. I'm not going to ever show you one thing and then do the other thing. And I think that that's what we long for in our society. We want to see more of that, less Kardashian, more real underwear on your no, maybe not. Maybe we don't need any more underwear.
Maybe if it's a full cedar, then that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. Oh, hey, Erica's here. Hey, Erica. I know Erica. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things where we are yearning for connection right now. I think even more because, like you said, I work from home.
Right.
So this is not odd to me to be doing the same sort of Groundhog Day thing over and over again. Yeah. Now I travel a ton because I'm blessed to be asked to go to events and things and whatever. I got to be honest, it's been really nice to not have to travel. But being inside has not been what's bothering me. It's the fact that everybody else that I own also has to be home with me 24 hours a day. Hey, Renee. And the fact that they've canceled all the activities. So our kids are so stir crazy from not having flag football, soccer, tennis, basketball, whatever. And that, as much as we would gripe and complain about the practices, it's always something. Right now it's like, oh gosh, they just need something to go and do. Mm-hmm. So that's
tough for them too. And that's what I keep trying to remind myself. I'm like, their whole schedule has been like destroyed too. So when I'm ready to scream my head off, I'm like, okay, they're also going through this. It's not just you.
Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast. I was like, I finally realized if I'm feeling this stressed and my husband is feeling this stressed, even though our kids don't know why they're feeling this stressed, why do you have a Pop-Tart? Oh, you're coming to share? All right, well, I'm gonna let it slide. Here, maybe I can be the one who touches it. Oh, buddy, what happened to this Pop-Tart? Okay. All right. Here you go. Thank you. All right. Did you finish your writing prompt? Okay.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I think that the kids obviously, right, they don't know why they're stressed. And I don't think at least my little two really understand the seriousness. My middle schooler does. Mm-hmm. And that's been kind of odd to watch because he gets panicky if people walk by the house. because
Oh,
if we're outside, he's like, we have to be 6 feet. And it's like, you're fine in the driveway, you know, like you're okay. But like
it's a
he
panic.
panicked. He panicked the other day and ran inside and showered
Oh my
because
word.
he was like,
Oh,
and I was like, I promise you, you're okay. But it's because you hear all of this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they are definitely feeling stressed.
Yeah. It's definitely scary.
Girl, hey Sherry, how's
Very
everybody
cool.
doing?
So, and then you also have YouTube. So you do your videos on, um, like Instagram, Facebook, and then share different ones with YouTube as well. Is that
Pretty much everything goes up on YouTube, and then, but it always goes up early
okay?
because I'll test it out in YouTube world because I have a pretty small YouTube platform. So I'll throw it out there, and I know that some diehard fans are over there waiting to see what's going to be released, and then they'll tell me their honest opinion. YouTube is brutal. YouTube is brutally honest. And so then I'll know, like, oh, like a couple of times they've been like, audio on this sucks, fix it. And then I'll be like, okay, cool. So then I'll go back and be like, oh, I see what happened. There was a whole clip there that wasn't that I didn't fix the audio. So I'm like, oh, okay, hey Barbara. So I will go fix it before I put it up on Facebook. And then I'll put clips on Instagram sporadically, and then IGTV, which we play with. The new thing that I've gotten into is the TikTok. I'll do some of the TikTok, but I don't do like the dance challenges and stuff. I just throw up video clips, or I'll do little stuff. If my daughter asks to do one, I'll do one, but I'm such a bad dancer. The TikTok dance things are not my thing. But I just like to create stuff,
Mhm.
you know? I just like to make stuff. I just think it's fun.
It is. And when you mentioned YouTube is brutal, so I don't know if you've seen our Born Different clip, but video we were on Born Different, which is Barcroft TV, and
Yeah.
it went viral. We never like when people say, "Oh, you inspire me," I'm like, "Can you tell my husband because they don't treat me any different at home? Let him know I'm an inspiration, please."
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm
Please
like,
let
"Well,
them know how special I am.
yeah." I'm like, "Hello, this is going crazy." So yeah, so it went viral. We didn't expect it, but the comments that some of the people made, I was like, "Ooh." There's like it can be, and my husband's like, "You've got to push past that part because there's other people that are benefiting from this." And I was like, "Yeah." But
And
yeah.
that's always the positives are gonna outweigh the negatives, but it can be hard. Like it can be really
Mm,
hard. I got attacked a couple months back on YouTube by another channel that sent all of their awful, nasty, mean people over to mine to just inundate it. And they didn't just inundate the one video. They were like, go over and comment on every one of her videos. So they had people there for well over a month, just going in every day and commenting on every video I'd ever made. And
oh
I was just
my
like,
god.
and so then I sat there and I thought about it. After like getting really upset and pissed off, I was like, these people have that much time in their lives. And this is prior to being quarantined, right? Like when you should have had jobs and things to
Right.
do. They were coming over to spend time just to say they hated me on various videos on my social media. Like that's like I'm sad that that's what you're doing with your life, because there are so many wonderful things that you could be doing with your life. And I've been doing this a long time now. Like I've been
Yeah.
getting trash talked for years, and 6 years, I guess. Yeah, right? Six
My word.
years. Yeah, I've been getting trash talked for 6 years. So I can tell you that it was finally this after this channel sent their haters to come over and try and destroy me. I realized how unbelievably epically sad that was. And
Yes.
I was like, that doesn't matter. We have so many people who come and show up each and every day
Mhm.
to get that little, for a lack of a better word, golden nugget. I can't use that anymore after seeing the Tiger King. Have you seen the Tiger
Oh
King?
my god. You know what? That's so
I
funny.
can't use the phrase golden nugget anymore.
I was stuck when I was just flipping through. I didn't even expect for anybody to even give a crap about that show. And my like I was laid on the couch for 2 days, and my husband's like, "Why are you still watching? This is stupid." I'm like, "No, you." I'm like, "This lady, I swear she gave her ex to the tigers." I'm like, "I don't know why this isn't being investigated." I'm like, "That man was ate by tigers."
Carol Baskin did it, yes. But and the thing is, of course, this is sensationalized docu-series.
Right.
Like, obviously, we give us names. Sherry, I'm talking about my people. You know who I'm talking about, girl. You, I don't know. I don't even know when this was made, but it's
I
not
know.
new. This docu-series is a couple of years old.
Oh, it's crazy.
But we just got sucked into this Joe Exotic vortex, right? Like this weird universe. And I'm laughing though, because I'm thinking to myself, like, I said golden nuggets today, and somebody on my live was like, oh my, and I was like, no, I didn't mean like Joe Exotic's dead
Oh,
husband's golden nuggets. I meant like chicken nuggets, you know? So I'm everything right now about this entire weird space that we're in. I feel like there was a meme yesterday I saw that was Joe Exotic, and the title was who started coronavirus, and then it's Joe Exotic, like Carol Baskin did it, you know, and it was like, of course it was Carol Baskin. She started the coronavirus. She killed her husband. Sharon saw it when it first came out. I didn't know it existed until Facebook erupted with it last week.
I didn't even think it was going to be like a big deal, and I couldn't stop watching it. I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm like, if you guys, I didn't even know, is he really singing? Is that really him singing country music?
I don't know that that's his voice.
His voice is not that bad.
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't know if that's actually him, but I can tell you those music videos are gold.
I'm like,
gold.
So funny. I was dying laughing. I'm like,
in his EMT jacket, his paramedic jacket. I was like, oh, Joe Exotic, stop it.
And the mullet is just on point. Like, I mean.
And now apparently Cardi B is trying to get him out of prison.
Seen that. She's making a GoFundMe account.
Yeah, she's gonna raise a bunch of money to get Joe Exotic out of jail.
I didn't know if it was a joke. I was just dying laughing.
Apparently it is not. I don't know.
That's hilarious. Well, I thank you so much. So how can everybody find you?
On Facebook, it is.
Everyone knows you.
Yeah. Oh, they canceled her GoFundMe, Sherry. Oh, that's terrible. We're gonna get Joe Exotic out of jail. Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as That's Inappropriate. I'm pretty sure TikTok is the same. And you know, you can always find, most people usually find me on Facebook, and you can message me there. I try to get to as many messages as I can. I got to a point where I couldn't answer them every day. So as they come in, I try. My husband is actually really good, because he'll go through and be like, hey, make sure you see this one or whatever. But it's tough, but I do try to get in there every day and take a look at those, because I do think it's important that we stay connected. And if somebody reaches out to me, I always try to email back and reach back, because if this thing has taught us anything, it's that this is a really damn small world that we live in, and we do need to stay connected and united. And I think that sharing about ourselves so that others can feel less alone, which is what we both do. I think that's we got to keep doing that.
Yeah. And it just shows it doesn't matter the statue that you are in life. It doesn't matter your race, your color. We're all the same. We're all the same. I mean, death, like Kobe Bryant, when he went down, that's just so traumatic. But I thought about it, and I'm like, in that moment, he wasn't a superstar. He wasn't an amazing basketball. He was a father. And I can only imagine his last thoughts is, as a parent, you can fix everything. But this wasn't able to be fixed with money, with fame, with nothing. He was.
Yeah, I agree. That was the exact thing too, because I remember we were walking out of lunch when I got a Twitter alert, and I looked at it and I was like, this has to be fake. This is not real. And then when CNN picked it up, and then it was just on every news network, and Twitter was just blowing up, my first thought was, oh my gosh, please don't I hope his family wasn't in there. And then when I heard about his daughter, I was just like, my heart was broken for his wife, because now I'm like, you lost your husband and your daughter. And my head was just exploding. And I know there was a lot of controversy because they were like, there are people who are like, Kobe Bryant wasn't a good person. He had done this, he had done that. And in that moment, I was like, this isn't about the drama that is Kobe Bryant. This isn't about the basketball player or the legend or the whatever. You're right. It's like, this is about a wife and a mother who lost a husband and a father to her children and her daughter. And to me, that's what, once you become a parent,
it's a different reaction.
You can empathize. You are like, I don't think any of us can really empathize with other people when it comes to parenting until you have kids of your own. I don't care if those kids are adopted. I don't care if you've birthed those children. I don't care how you got them dang kids. But you cannot empathize with another parent until you have filled those shoes, because it's just such a huge part of your heart.
Oh.
And that's what it does to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what got me too.
It just,
that's what got
I
me.
remember that night. We actually prayed for the family, of course, and things like that. And I was just like, that just goes to show that when, I mean, I'm a Christian, so I'm not pushing on anybody, but to me, it's like, we're on borrowed time. And when it's our time, it's our time. Your fame, your money, none of it matters. We are all exactly the same. So
I completely agree. And that's why, and I know I'm on borrowed time, because in 2014, I thought I was dead. I thought I had an esophageal tumor, and I thought, oh, I'm dying. I'm on my way out. I'm checking out, leaving my 3 kids and my husband to have to find a new wife. And several surgeries later and getting put back together and whatnot. And luckily it wasn't cancer. So they just had to rework my organs so they would work. That's why I started this, because I was like, I'm on borrowed time. The good Lord gave me a tumor as a gift. So I had to turn it into something, because I knew I wasn't done with what I needed to do. So it gave me a big kick in the butt to do what I needed to do.
A lot of people, I mean, you can either take it, like you said, as a blessing or a lesson and keep it moving, or let it take over you. And a lot of people ask me, well, how do you get up every day to do these things, to reach out to people? I don't consider it an option. I'm not going to, while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to make the best of it. And I'm not going to let this take me. I refuse to let it take me. And I got kids looking at me and stuff like that. So I
agree.
That.
I agree. And a lot of people are going to tell you no in the process, whether it's a book deal or a TV show or who knows what, right? Like these things, you're going to be told no, but that doesn't mean that you have to take no. Just because you're told no, you can go find another way to get what you want. Because it might not be this exact situation, but there can be other things. And like the first time I was told no about my book, my first book, I said, well, so if nobody publishes me, that means I can't have a book. And my husband was like, well, I don't think so. I think you can just publish your own book. I said, all right, let's do that. So we'll just publish my own book. So we published my first book, and he did everything on that end of it. And I wrote the book and we put it out there. And that's what we did with my first book. And I was lucky enough on my second book to get a book deal with a publishing company. But when everybody who I sent my stuff to said no for the first one, I was like, well, does that have to mean no? And it's like, no, it doesn't. Just find another way.
And I appreciate that, because I'm definitely building my brand. So I've been turned down a lot. Some people, I don't know why I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I think I should be, but apparently I'm not. And because I just speak my mind. And I think that some people looked at me, well, she's disabled, she's probably going to hush. Nah, not me. I'm going to say what I have to say, but I've definitely been told no a lot, and I just keep pushing through it, and it'll come. Somebody will see my vision and understand it. So
I agree with you, and that's you keep doing this, and you are touching people's lives, and you are sharing the message that you were put here to share, and that's the best. That is very empowering. So continue to do that, and obviously you've got my support.
I thank you so much. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for letting me talk to you and giving me the opportunity to, because I mean, you're pretty up there. This is pretty good.
Well, I am in my garage studio, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
So,
fancy.
yeah, I am fancy. My husband did build me a garage studio. We call it Studio G. So, I don't know. Fancy is probably not something that is synonymous with my name, but
I'm so
but I
glad that
thank you.
you. Thank you. And then everyone, of course, you know how to find her, and I'm excited. So thank you so much.
Well,
You're
thank
now my
you.
friend. We're friends.
We
Sorry.
are friends. I'm impressed that your kids didn't barge in on you because my kids came in like 5 times.
I locked the door.
Oh,
I said no. And I'm
you
out there. My sister's actually out there. She's staying with us right now. And I'm like, please, please, please. She's like, okay. I'm like 30, 40 minutes. Just give me some time.
I
So
love it.
thank you again. And thank you everyone so much for watching. And we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, everyone.